Fred Teng is president of the America-China Public Affairs Institute. He's joining us now from New York to talk a little bit further about this race. Fred, how do you think this election is being viewed globally? And I ask that question because a lot of people in this country very uncomfortable with the tone and tenor of this campaign. Is this election a black eye for the U.S.? Does it damage its reputation moving forward, do you think?
Well, I think that in terms of the United States as a political system, we have very strong institutions. And so I'm very confident that the country will be untouched. However, you know, the type of rhetoric that we have seen in this election, the American voters have not seen it for a long time, so they were sometimes surprised and shocked. However, this is not something I think people have seen worse in other races in the different parts of the world.
What can we expect to see, do you think, in these last 2 weeks? It's been so contentious leading up to this point. And what do you have much stock in these polls? It looks like in some it's tightening. Others, it seems like Hillary's got a comfortable lead.
Well, national poll really doesn't mean anything. And other polls about women or men or ethnic groups also doesn't mean anything, because the election is an electoral system and it's state by state, and most of the state is winner take all. So it's really the state polls. And I think that the accumulation of all of the polls does tell us where it's going. I think by all accounts, Hillary could win 2% to 12% of popular votes. And if Mr. Trump wins this election, it would be really big news.
Can we expect any more surprises before the election day? We've had a steady diet of these WikiLeaks emails released, and we've also heard all these allegations against Trump and his behavior towards women. Can we expect more before the election actually occurs, do you think?
If it comes out, I think that most of the people's mind are already made up, and they also shut out other news that's negative to their candidate. So I think that that's not going to change much in terms of the polls.
And given how mean-spirited this election's been, how difficult will it be following the election for the country to come back together? It seems as though it's almost split 50-50. A lot of people very angry as this election continues to move on.
Well, in the President George W. Bush's first term, Vice President Al Gore actually won the popular vote, and President Bush won the electoral vote through court contests and so forth. And I think that certainly at that time, the Democrats were not very happy for those 8 years. I think that there will be people will be contentious, but then I think the country will do well.
And then Donald Trump saying that the election is rigged, making it kind of unclear whether or not he's going to accept the results of this election. How is that going to play into all of this?
There's always an avenue for candidates to contest certain parts of the election. But I think that if the overall election is decided, I think that the candidate should accept it. But if not, there's also a system in place to ratify the results, and they can declare the winner.
Fred Teng joining us from New York. Thanks so much for your observations.